Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Tuesday, the day of Arsenal's first pre-season friendly of the summer. We are at that point already. Euros literally just finished and already we are talking about match day for Arsenal. So exciting, it's an exciting day really. Yes, the Euros has been fun, but I think we're all very happy that we can start turning our attentions back to Arsenal, and we're going to get to see our first glimpse of some of the players in action today. Should see a new signing as well, Nuno Tavares. He is up in Scotland. Expect him to probably make his debut. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't feature in one way or the other, if it's either from the start or in as a substitute. He'll get some sort of game time tonight, and plenty of other big players involved, as I talked about yesterday. Aubameyang, Lacazette, Pepe, Partey, they're all up there. Smith Rowe, and a few youngsters as well, like Omari Hutchinson. It'll be interesting to see if he gets any game time. Very exciting young player as well. Balogun's up there. Could see Balogun get some game time. Harry Clark, people like that. So mixture of senior players and youngsters. I think about 30 are up there. And yeah, I will talk about that game a little bit later on in this video. But I thought I'd start first of all with some transfer news. Obviously, we're right slap bang in the middle of transfer season, and the future of William Saliba is now very, very close to being resolved. He is in France. He travelled to France. He's arrived this morning ahead of his loan move to Marseille. Now, as far as I'm aware, that should be wrapped up and finalised in the next couple of days and confirmed at any point between now and the next couple of days. But the fact he's arrived in France, shows how very, very close this one is to being completed now. Just got to dot the I's, cross the T's, and get his loan, which doesn't feature, the deal does not include a purchase option for Marseille at the end of it. Arsenal still saying that he remains part of the plans for the future. Obviously, they've said that for the last couple of seasons as well, before he's gone out on loan. They insistent that remains the case, and they still do see him as part of the future at Arsenal. It's going to be a massive season, this one, for William Saliba, though. You'd certainly think that one way or the other we're going to know what's going to happen to him by next summer, whether he makes it at Arsenal or it is a case of cashing in and selling now, cutting your losses, getting as much as you can, and kind of putting the Saliba story to bed, really, when it comes to Arsenal. Hopefully not, because I think we want to see him do really, really well. We know he's a talent, that's clear. I've said it before, I really wish he would have gone to the Premier League this season, had a season on loan in the Premier League. We know he's decent in France. We've seen him play well there before. He did well at Nice in the second half of last season, but just feels like the time was right to really sort of test himself in the Premier League. There were options for him. I've said that before. Newcastle was certainly very interested in William Saliba. He himself has decided he wanted to go back to France and go to Marseille. Yes, they're in Europe this season, so that'll be a bonus. He can test himself in European competition, but still, I think it kind of felt like a good time to really go out and play in the Premier League, play a full season here. We could all really see just how equipped he is to deal with it, how ready he is. If he's still a little bit too experienced to cope with the demands of the Premier League, it just feels a little bit disappointing. But fair play, it's his decision at the end of the day. And I think Arsenal weren't really in a position where they would really push Saliba, given the way he's kind of been treated since he's arrived here. I don't think Arsenal are really in a position at the moment to absolutely lay down the law to him, saying, no, you're going to go here. He wanted to go back to France. Arsenal have agreed to it. And, like I said, Marseille, they're in Europe this season. They're a good, strong team, really big club. He's going to be playing under a lot of pressure at Marseille. His performances will very much be in the spotlight there. We know what their Marseille fans are like. They're very demanding. They will call you into account if you don't play well. So he's got that added pressure of playing for a club like Marseille, who will be, you'd think, sort of attempting to push for the title in France, certainly attempting to do well in Europe as well. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how William gets on. But like I said, that is a deal that should be wrapped up in the next couple of days. Loan for Saliba for the season. No option, no obligation for Marseille to buy at the end of it. And Arsenal still saying that they see him as part of the future. So that's the latest when it comes to William Saliba. You would expect now that deal's done, that Arsenal are certainly going to press forward in their attempts to get Ben White over the line. White has been involved with England at Euro 2020. That is obviously now not the case, with England going out and the tournament finishing. And Arsenal's attention will now switch to trying to get this deal done for Ben White. They haven't yet agreed a fee with Brighton. Talks have been going on for a long time. They've been, from what I understand, very amicable. You know, both clubs kind of in agreement that there needs to find a solution. You know, Brighton are not unwilling to sell Ben White, but they want their money, they want their valuation met. Arsenal kind of willing to meet their valuation, but it's all at the moment in the stage of what sort of clauses they're going to pay, what the initial payment's going to be, you know, what the bonuses are going to take the overall payment towards. That's what hasn't been agreed yet between the two clubs. For all account, from all understanding, is that Ben White is very keen on a move to Arsenal this summer. It's just a case of the two clubs ironing things out now over the coming days, coming weeks, to try and get this one done. And with Saliba heading off, you certainly think Arsenal definitely need to bring in a centre-back at the moment. We don't know the exact extent of Gabriel's injury yet, how long he's going to miss, if he's going to miss anything at all at the start of the season. That injury obviously ruling him out of playing for Brazil at the Olympics. So Arsenal basically got Pablo Mari, Rob Holding, Callum Chambers at the moment as his centre-backs, senior centre-backs. Anyway, you certainly need more than that at the start of the season. So you would think Arsenal are desperate to get Ben White in, even if he will end up missing the first week of the season, perhaps anyway, because he's going to need a holiday like Bukayo Saka has, because he's been involved in the tournament throughout the summer. But you know, that's a deal I expect to really start seeing progress now as Arsenal try and ramp up getting the Ben White move over the line, but not done yet. So we'll have to wait and see exactly when that deal is, or if it is completed. In terms of Locatelli, he has been speaking about his future after Italy's Euro 2020 success. Now, as I've said in previous videos before, Arsenal are interested in Locatelli as a midfielder they're looking at, and there has been conversations between them and Sassuolo. Lots of talk over in Italy that, you know, Arsenal have made an official bid for Locatelli. Again, as far as I'm aware, from people that I've spoken to at Arsenal, they're saying that's not the case. You know, there has been no official bid submitted, but, you know, whether there's kind of cross wires here in terms of Arsenal said during their conversations with Sassuolo, you know, what they would be willing to pay for him, I don't know. But from Arsenal's point of view, people I've spoken to there, they're still saying there hasn't been an official bid, and they're just there in the wait, sort of playing a waiting game when it comes to Locatelli. He is a player they're interested in. It's not something that they have ruled out doing if the possibility arises, but they are very aware that Juventus are in pole position when it comes to signing Locatelli this summer. You know, Locatelli is very keen on a move to Juventus. That's pretty clear, has been for a while. But as of yet, Juventus and Sassuolo haven't agreed a deal for that transfer. Now, Juventus are struggling money-wise. They're hoping, by all accounts, to get some sort of deal, possibly on loan, and then with an obligation to buy further down the line, kind of like the deal they did to bring Chiesa to Juve a while back. Sassuolo are kind of using Arsenal's interest to try and get more money out of Juventus up front, that sort of thing. So it's something that has to be we're going to have to wait and see exactly how that emerges. Personally, for me, I still feel, you know, I'd be very surprised if he doesn't end up at Juventus. He's clearly keen there. He was asked about it during the sort of celebrations with Italy about his future. He said, "I haven't really thought about my next club so far. I was focused on the national team from tomorrow," which was, he said this on Sunday, so that basically means Monday. "We will see what happens. I support Juventus. Right now we are here with the national team, so I support Italy." It's pretty clear he wants to go to Juventus. I'd be very surprised if this isn't a deal that ends up happening. But as I've said, if it doesn't, if Sassuolo stay strong and Juventus don't meet their demands and they can't reach an agreement, then Arsenal are certainly in the background waiting to see if this is an opportunity that they can take. They want to sign a midfielder this summer, not just Albert Lokonga, who is here waiting to complete his move from Anderlecht once his period of quarantine finishes. You know, Lokonga's only 21, been playing in the Belgium League. Arsenal want a more experienced midfielder to come in and partner Thomas Partey, because the expectation still is that Granit Xhaka will leave, although that hasn't been agreed with Roma yet either. That's still up in the air. But, you know, should Xhaka, which the expectation is that he will, should he leave, Arsenal don't really see Lokonga as the out-and-out immediate replacement for him, given his age, given his lack of experience. They kind of know they need someone with more experience who can come in and slot in alongside Thomas Partey, and Locatelli is very much one of the players on that list. So is Ruben Neves at Wolves, as I've mentioned before. So Arsenal are going to play a waiting game with him, but judging by Locatelli's comments there, it's pretty clear where he wants to go. And as I've said, from my I would be very surprised if he's not a Juventus player at the end of this transfer window. Right, quickly, let's talk about Bukayo Saka. We saw what happened yesterday, and since that penalty miss, what's gone on with him and Rashford and Sancho and the horrible abuse they've had to take online. Arsenal very much rallying around in support of Bukayo Saka since that penalty miss at Wembley and what's gone on online since that. Josh Kroenke has reached out to offer his support to Saka personally. So is Mikel Arteta. Vinay, the managing director, Vinay Venkatesham, he's done it. Several teammates as well have been in contact with Bukayo to make sure he's all right. So Arsenal very much sort of surrounding Saka at the moment and offering him all the support that he needs to get him through what is clearly a very difficult time. We saw Arsenal's statement yesterday condemning the abuse. Arsenal are working at the moment with the FA and the relevant authorities to try and track down or help track down those who have abused Saka online, so that they can be punished for it, and quite rightly as well. They all deserve to be punished, whoever said that sort of thing. And as I said in yesterday's video, the hope is just for me now that Saka can just have a little bit of a break now, go away, have a well-deserved holiday after this fantastic season and summer he's had with Arsenal and England. Take a bit of break, try and put what's gone on behind him, and then really focus on coming back and having a fantastic season with Arsenal in the coming season, because I think we all know that he's so important to Arsenal, and he's such a wonderful young talent, and hopefully he can get back playing as well as he has done so far since he's broken into the first team and can make a huge impact, because I think Saka's all set to have a massive season next season for Arsenal, along with the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe as well, who we still haven't seen his squad number yet. Arsenal very, very clever in all the photos that have come out of Emil Smith-Rowe, even a couple of them up in Scotland at the moment, just not showing that squad number that is on his vest and training gear. Yeah, we'll wait and see exactly when that is confirmed, what Emil's new squad number is, and hopefully might even be confirmed at the same time as that new contract is confirmed for him. Okay, so Arsenal versus Hibs tonight, 6 PM kickoff. If you didn't already know, it's live on arsenal.com. You either have to pay for it, or if you're a member, gold member, season ticket holder, silver member, you get it for free if you redeem the voucher code that you should have been sent. So please do that if you haven't already done it. 6 PM kickoff. I will be I'm not going to Scotland for it, obviously, as I'm still here at home. I'll be watching it like you on the internet, and I will be covering it though as normal. I will try and pop back on here and do a video afterwards if I can to talk about player ratings, but as I mentioned yesterday, it's really hard because there could be about 30 odd players playing at some point. We're certainly going to see two different teams in each half, I would imagine. As I've talked about, some of the kids who have gone up there, 2 young goalkeepers, Tom Smith and James Hilson, are up there. Omar Rekic's up there, Harry Clark, Jack Henry Francis, Amari Hutchinson, Folarin Balogun. So those are sort of youngsters that are going to be involved alongside, as I mentioned, a lot of the senior players who have gone, like Orba, Laka, Pepe, Smith-Rowe, Willian, El Neni, Cedric, Callum Chambers, Rob Holding, all that sort of lot are up there, and had their first training session yesterday, match today, a couple more training sessions during the week, and then they play Rangers on Saturday, 2 PM kickoff for that one before returning home, and then having a couple of days in London before flying off to America for the Florida Cup. So all ramping up now at pre-season. Going to be looking forward to seeing them play today. They'll be in their away kit today, and then as far as I understand, they'll be showing off their new home kit, which will be launched on Friday in Saturday's game against Rangers. So plenty to look forward to now that we get Arsenal back, and hopefully see some decent football, some decent goals. But one player who won't be there will be William Saliba. As I mentioned at the start of this video, he is now close to Marseille. Other players who won't be there, the players who are in international duty, so no Saka, no Leno, no Xhaka, no Lucas Torreira, who's been in Copa America duty. Other than that, very full squad travelling up for this one, so please do watch that, and then keep your eyes peeled to my social media on Twitter at Charles Watts, Charles_Watts, and on goal.com, where we'll be reacting to all we see tonight. Hopefully a nice Arsenal victory to kick off pre-season. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Please do enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.